Hi, well today I'm making shrink pots with the Bodgers, and these are very interesting. Never done them before actually, but basically you hollow out a branch of the trunk and then you carve a little wooden disc to go in the base, and the idea is it's a loose enough fit initially to get it in, but as the wood shrinks around the base it tightens it and you have a very nice little pot with a firm wooden base. So here we are all having a go at this, quite a large group of us, and the first job is to bore out your hole. So everyone's been busy with the augers, brace and bit, etc. to get the holes out. And here's one chap, got a bit ahead of the rest of us, is actually hollowing out using his gouge. And it's quite interesting seeing the different hollowing methods that people had. Here's a sort of interesting curved tool being used to get nice straight sides to get the hollowing done, and this is me doing some hollowing myself on my one. So I used my little spoon carving chopping block and clamped my shrink pot base to that, and it seemed to work quite well. So the idea is to hollow it out a bit like a bit of piping really, to get a hole going the whole way through, and then the next task will be to actually make the actual slot for the base going around. And you can do that with a knife, or you can use some tools. And of course, always distractions here. We were enjoying looking at these leather tool covers, very simple ones, but a nice cover for a gouge there. And this is the thing, I always love these. So we have these chats, you get ideas from people, you see what they're doing, you get little hints and tips and find out different ways of doing things. Now, one of my friends had rather excelled himself at making some tools for these shrink pots to actually get nice gouge channels. So he had a little series of tools that had been made out of various drill bits and old bits of metal.
Yeah, these ones are literally just warmed up, bent over drill bit, then sharpened up to a sort of a gouge.
Yeah,
the angle is the important thing.
Oh, to get it to cut.
Because you've got to, if you think about, you want to, as you're coming around, you don't want to be digging in like that.
Yeah.
You need to be sort of scooping.
Oh, I see. It's like a chiselling sort of action in effect.
Like a planing.
Yeah, planing. Yeah.
And the board there is just to keep it at the same angle.
Yeah. And these flat ones.
Oh, I thought you were cutting the actual groove with that.
No, only
you're marking it.
Are those flattened drill bits, or are they?
I think they were
Something else.
Oh, actually, I do know. Some of them are actual proper tool steel.
Right. What?
I know, yeah.
Not proper tool steel.
Yeah, about 8p's worth of tool steel.
Right.
And some of them were just old chisels, sort of cheap and nasty chisels. So I just snapped them off, glued them into the thing. So the key thing, if you look at those next to each other, you've this sort of got top and bottom.
Oh yeah, so that's lower, that's higher,
Yeah.
so that does,
And then you've got all these things are then designed to fit
between those two
heights.
Got you, 3 tools.
So we've got, well actually there's more than that, because I've got left-handies, right-handies, general scoopies, and a new test which was just a sort of a
freehand
thing. So,
unguided version.
Yeah, so we've got various different angles. It depends when you're doing, if you look at that, you've got a sort of a hump in there.
Yeah.
So you might want to scoop one way or the other one, you might want to come back. So with this, you see that sort of digs in a bit, or pokes in a bit.
Yeah.
So you might want to come round that way, so you're going with the grain, and then you'll be going backwards on that one. So again, you're following the grain, you're planing.
And that's giving you that groove. Yeah, it's coming out.
So at the moment we've just got the bottom cut line.
So the next thing would be to use the other tool.
Yeah, so you've cut 2 channels.
Yeah.
You don't do more than about 1 millimetre at a time. So you cut the channels round and then scoop out all the stuff. So if you see on this one now, you can see we've got a bit of tear out there. We're 1 millimetre or so down.
See a definite groove forming. Yeah, so cut top, bottom, then dig out.
And then we're going to chamfer the eventually I'm going to thin this out a bit on the bottom.
Yeah.
So it looks a bit nicer, and then the thing will just pop straight in.
Great. Yeah.
But it's just it's an easier way. You can do it with just not trying to gouge out like this, but it's actually really difficult to get it accurate.
Yes. Yeah. It slide, won't it?
Or with just your knife, you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's really, because you get bored and you kind of hack away too much, and then it slips. And so this is just a nice, easy way of. I don't know if you can you see that way?
Yeah, that's great. Yep. Yeah,
you can
see
just
the board guiding it and the cutting.
So the board stops it moving, and then it's just a case of getting the angle. As you can see, you can twist that round to get the angle you want.
Yeah, got you.
They're all available from my shop.
Of course, it's a great cost.
One of my friends had this rather nice little workbench, little mini working horse. I rather liked it. Nice and compact. Anyway, carried on cutting out the material to get this sort of tube effect for the shrink pot. And I found the spoon knives were quite good for this. So using a variety really of hook knives, flat knives, gouges. And in the end, I got quite a nice, good sort of wall, nice smooth wall to my shrink pot. So that's before I did the grooving for the base. And the wood's very wet at this stage, so it will shrink well. And then I went to town with those cutters. And they worked very well indeed. And you can see I've got a nice groove there all the way around of a nice uniform depth. So that seemed good. Next job then was to cut out the base. And the base was being made from some very, very dry wood. So you really want the base to be as dry as possible. And I fitted that. And it seemed to be going okay, but a bit loose.
Oh, it's going to go in, I think. That's almost in. Do you want to hold the camera? Yeah, thanks. Yes! I don't know, it's gone in too far. It's a bit sort of... So I'm getting that completely out of... Seems rather loose. It is in. Well, yes, I'm not certain. It should shrink, I suppose. It's a bit gappy. Yeah.
My friends were also all getting their bases in as well, and I think some of them, frankly, had a better fit than mine, but it was interesting to see them all. Some were looser, some were tighter, but people who'd done this before said, no, don't worry if they're a bit loose, they will shrink. So, in fact, we had one pot they showed us which had actually split completely because it had shrunk too much. So there is hitting a bit of a balance. This one had interesting cherry staining. It was actually blood. And I found myself, actually, I nicked my fingers a couple of times. It was very difficult with sharp knives not to sort of nip your fingers. But we had our first aid kit at the ready. Anyway, we all very much enjoyed ourselves. It was great fun. It was good fun having a chat. We tried something new. I did like these rather nice naturalistic shrink pots. And I think I'll have a go at doing some more shrink pots sometime. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching the film, and thanks so much indeed. Bye-bye.